Last week, I touched a hot vessel. My hand pulled away, and I only noticed that it happened about half a second later. Half a second, that doesn't sound like much, but in that gap, my hand had already moved, my muscles had already contracted, a decision had already been made, all without my brain doing anything. So, here's what I need you to think about for the next 8 minutes. You feel like you are in control of your body, you feel like your brain is the boss, the one making every move. But what if your brain is actually more like a head office that finds out about things after the branch office has already handled them? That's not a metaphor, that's exactly what your nervous system does. And today we are going to trace that entire system, from a single nerve cell all the way to the 3 command centers inside your skull. By the end of this video, 3 things are going to click for you. 1. You will understand how a single neuron actually carries a message, not vaguely, specifically. 2. You will be able to draw the reflex arc from memory and explain exactly why your hand moved before your brain knew anything. And 3. You will know the 3 command zones of your brain, what each one controls, and why damaging even a small part of one of them can change everything about who you are. Let's build this from the ground up. Before we trace that hot vessel message, we need to meet the messenger, the neuron, the most specialized cell in your entire body, and also weirdly one of the most misunderstood. Look at the shape of this thing. Most cells in your body are roughly round, compact, maybe a few micrometers across. This one, some neurons in your body are over 1 meter long. 1 meter, a single cell, running from your lower spine all the way down to your big toe. If a normal cell were the size of a marble, this neuron would be the length of a cricket pitch. And it has one job, carry a signal from one end to the other as fast as possible. Now, let's label this properly. These branching ends, these are the dendrites. Think of them as antennae. They receive incoming signals from other neurons. This round center is the cell body, also called the cyton. It is a processing unit. It collects everything the dendrites picked up and decides what to do with it. And this long wire running out from it, this is the axon. The signal travels down the axon outward to the next neuron or to a muscle. Now here where it gets strange. You would think neurons are connected to each other, like links in a chain, but they are not. They don't touch. There is a tiny gap between them, and the signal has to jump across the gap using chemicals. That gap is called a synapse, and the chemicals that carry the signal across, those are neurotransmitters. Think of it like this. The axon reaches the edge of a cliff. It can't go further, so it throws a chemical across the gap. The next neuron's dendrites catch it, and the signal continues. This happens trillions of times per second in your body right now. Hey, remember that hot vessel I touched at the start? Let's actually trace what happened, not in general terms, step by step, neuron by neuron. Because this is where everything we just learned about neurons clicks into place. And this is also the most elegant piece of engineering in your entire body. Step 1. Your fingertip touches something hot. Sensory receptors in your skin, nerve endings designed specifically to detect pain and temperature, fire immediately. They don't wait for permission. Signal sent. Step 2. That signal travels up what's called the afferent nerve, the incoming lane, heading upward towards your spinal cord. Step 3. Now here's the critical part. The signal reaches your spinal cord, and your spinal cord has what's called a relay neuron, a neuron that processes the signal right there, locally, without sending it all the way to the brain first. The spinal cord looks at the signal and goes, "Danger, withdraw now." It doesn't consult the brain, it is the regional manager. It has the authority to handle emergencies on site. Step 4. The withdrawal command travels back down the efferent nerve, the outgoing lane, towards your hand muscles. Step 5. Your hand muscles, the effectors, contract. Your hand pulls back. And only now a fraction of a second later does the signal reach your brain. And your brain goes, "Oh, that was hot. Ouch." Quick question. Pause the video if you want to think about it. Is sneezing a reflex? What about blinking? What about catching a ball? Sneezing. Yes, reflex. Blinking. Mostly reflex, though you can control it voluntarily. Catching a ball? Not a reflex. That involves your brain making a prediction and coordinating movement. Very different system. This is the distinction between voluntary and involuntary actions, and that exactly difference will come up in your exam. Now let's go to the actual head office. Your brain weighs about 1.4 kilograms. It looks roughly uniform, just wrinkled grey tissue, but inside it's divided into 3 very distinct regions, each running a completely different part of your existence. The forebrain, primarily the cerebrum, is the largest part, and it's the part that makes you, you. Thinking, memory, language, problem solving, recognizing a face, reading these words right now, feeling happy or scared, all cerebrum. It is the CEO, handles everything that requires actual thought. The midbrain sits in the middle, connecting the forebrain above to the hindbrain below. It is the relay station, routing signals, controlling basic eye and head movements, processing some sensory input. The operations manager makes sure the right information gets to the right place. And then the hindbrain. Two parts worth noting here. The cerebellum, sitting at the back, controls posture, balance, and coordination of movement. Right now it's making tiny adjustments to keep you sitting upright. You are not thinking about that. You don't need to. Cerebellum has it. And the medulla oblongata, at the very base of your brain, connecting to your spinal cord. This one controls the functions you absolutely cannot afford to forget. Heartbeat, breathing, blood pressure, swallowing. If the medulla stops working, you stop living. It's that simple. It's not dramatic. It's just most quietly essential structure in your body. Now, look at what we actually have here. Your nervous system isn't a straight line from brain to body. It is a layered command structure, built in tiers with very deliberate logic. The spinal cord handles emergencies locally, fast, no waiting. That's the reflex arc. The hindbrain handles the non-negotiables, heartbeat, breathing, balance, on autopilot every second, without you ever deciding to. The forebrain handles everything that requires thought, language, memory, decision-making, emotion. Right now, your medulla is controlling your breathing. Your cerebellum is keeping you stable. Your cerebrum is understanding what I am saying. Three systems running in parallel without any of them interfering with the others. And that hot vessel moment we started with, that wasn't a malfunction. That was the system working exactly as designed. The spinal cord handled an emergency faster than the brain could because it was designed to. Your brain found out about it, processed it, and filed it under lessons learned. The regional manager handled it. The CEO got the memo later. Here's how this matters outside a textbook. When a doctor taps your knee with a reflex hammer, they are not checking if you have nerves. They are checking whether your spinal reflex arc is intact and functioning independently, without brain interference. If the reflex doesn't fire, it tells them exactly where along the arc the problem is. Neurologists can look at spinal cord damage, identify nerve disease, and monitor recovery, all by watching whether specific reflexes respond the way they should. A 1.4 kilogram organ and a system of electrical cables, and doctors can read the whole story from a single neat tap. But here's something we haven't talked about yet. Everything we covered today is called the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord, but there's an entire second system running alongside it called the autonomic nervous system, and it controls your heartbeat, your digestion, your sweat glands, your stress response, all completely outside your conscious control. And it has two modes that are literally called fight or flight and rest and digest. That's the next video, and it's even stranger than this one. Stay curious!